Hey guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be updated every time I make a new video. Thanks, let's begin. Spastic, you haven't seen anything yet. Blood Diner. Wow, it feels weird to be sitting back here. Back to the channel, because I've been off of it for about 3 months doing a couple videos here and there, but now I'm back. I'm back, baby! This is the 1987 comedy horror from director Jackie Caan, who also directed The Being from 1983. Also, Vestron's new Blu-ray line has just released Dream a Little Dream, starring the two Coreys of the 80s. It's also their 25th release, so to honor it, here's my review for Blood Diner. It's their second one. I got a lot of catching up to do. The plot. Two brothers, Michael and George, both saw their uncle die after he tried and failed at a ritual. Their uncle made them promise to bring him back and perform the ritual during the next lunar eclipse or something. Surprisingly, they remember, and after 20 years of rotting away, Uncle Anwar has returned. Now the ritual is being prepared for, one body part at a time, while two cops investigate a string of mutilations. I wonder who's responsible. This flick is bonkers, crude, and loony, and I love it. Blood Diner sometimes feels like a trauma movie, even though that company had nothing to do with the making of this movie. Other times it feels like a 60s grindhouse flick like Blood Feast, which this, ironically enough, was supposed to be a sequel to Blood Feast. Either way, it gives you what you want out of a bizarre comedy horror. For the characters, we have Michael Tuttman, played by Rick Burks, who actually passed on at the age of 28. He's a hypnotist and charmer of people, namely a young virgin woman.
Do come see us again, Connie.
Thank you, I will.
He's cool and mysterious, but he's not the show stealer. His brother, George, played by Carl Crew, in his first project ever, is a scenery-chewing, crazed, hilarious character who makes ridiculous faces of joy and glee as he's committing these horrific acts. There are drawn-out scenes that you would think are going on a bit too long, but Georgie boy manages to make the scenes elevated by his performance, and they don't become boring, they become fun, and at a certain point you're like, I'm enjoying the hell out of this guy. And the scene.
Well, they all turn the radios way low down. So nobody can't see them when they're really going to town. They do the mambo.
His fight in the ring with Jimmy Hitler, who actually looks like my uncle, except for Jimmy Hitler is more buff. Oh, I said it! Oh, younger too! Ah! Is the stuff of goofy gold. Speaking of uncles, Mike and Georgie's Uncle Anwar is the glue that holds the two brothers together. They were tasked to do a job at a young age, and somehow remember to do their duties 20 years later. You could just chalk it up to Anwar hypnotizing them, but did he have that power? Maybe because he taught it to Mike. Ah, screw it. Anwar, for a majority, like 90% of his screen time, is just a brain with two googly eyes and a stem. And a voice. He's hilarious, comically reflecting on his past failures.
That night, on this mission, I lost my genitals and my life because of lack of discipline with the Glee Club girls.
And he does not think highly of his nephews, despite them remembering to do this 20 years after being two little boys, who obviously had some problems, even their mother.
Don't open the door. Don't let anyone in. Going to the market. Ran out of goddamn tampons.
He's constantly belittling them, and the banter dialogue is bad, but innocent enough to be charming. Sheba Jackson, played by Lynette LaFrance, okay, is like the only character with a brain on her shoulders. Or, wait, a brain in her head on her shoulders. There we go, I fixed it. Her head on her shoulders, that's the saying. What the hell am I thinking? She thinks things through, puts pieces together, and doesn't take crap from anyone. She's also newly partnered with Mark Shepard, played by Roger Dower, who is the epitome of 50s sleaze. His grease-laced black hair slicked back while he religiously combs it. He's just a goofball which constantly tries to hit on Sheba, who, as I said, doesn't take any crap. They do make for a good buddy cop duo, though, even though their personalities are, like, opposite. One last character I want to mention, even though he's not that important to the overall story, is Stan Salden, played by Bob Loya. It's not really him I want to spotlight, but let's say his talent. He's a ventriloquist and has this Mexican dummy that is not only funny looking, but is given the attribute of having a high-pitched voice.
Place is packed all the time. It's their seasoning. It makes everything taste real good, and they keep it a real tight secret.
What, you pint-sized Benedict Arnold?
Stan makes him funnier than even himself. I love the part where the dummy is in peril, like he's being held hostage, and even while Stan's trying to get him back by throwing knives and everything at the brothers, he's still giving voice to the dummy, like, "No, don't let them hurt me!" Ah. Also, me and Mumster, who I watched this movie with for my second time and her first time, have kind of started quoting the line where he's calling for Stan to not try and steal the Tutman's recipe. And as I'm quoting, I mean me going like, "Don't do it, Stan!" And she'll groan. It's as bad as when I kept on saying Sharktopus all the time. It's just a fun thing to say. Sue me. If you couldn't tell, this movie is ridiculous. Don't go in expecting a serious venture into cannibalism and horror and fine dining. This is a morbid comedy first and foremost. The gore, the effects, we get tons of gore in this flick. Yeah, it wasn't rated. We get severed limbs galore, a chick cut in two vertically, exploded heads, gushy bullet hits, flesh ripping, guts, and blood everywhere. The last 15 minutes are batshit insane. We get a concert during the finale at a club featuring guitarists decked out in Nazi attire, a virgin sacrifice ritual, a reawakened ancient god, zapping the crowd with lightning bolts until their ears or head explodes, zombies, and amongst it all, two cops trying to stop the chaos. It's an insane, gore-soaked climax that I wasn't expecting to be as insane nor fun as it is. It's not a particularly realistic movie, but the effects are good enough to fit the tone of the movie. It's not overly disturbing, but it is graphic. All the gore is practical, which is because it is an 80s movie. The prosthetics are cheap, yet charming. The motion picture soundtrack. What's surprising about this movie's music is that it's filled with mostly 50s doo-wop and R&B songs, and they all fit really well. We also get to some 80s pop rock and Dino Lee singing a song called Stud Pony, which is a punk song that is insane and played in the finale. Dom Preston, who also worked with Jackie Caan on The Being and Night Patrol, composed the music here too. It's a bit spontaneous and doesn't fit all the time, but it works well enough. For example, the title card will appear after the big music stinger, as if it was poorly edited there. Was it intentional? I don't think so. Maybe. Overall, if you want to have a gross-out good time, then check this one out. It's spastic, wild, and beyond bonkers. If you're into Troma, which, again, is a company that had nothing to do with this movie, you'll love this flick. If you like your films serious and less over the top, and don't even care for that subgenre at all, or type of movie, and you just hate it, stop being a prude, and be more open to different variations of horror. Blood Diner is a great watch. It's intentionally bad with horrid dialogue and acting and dubbing, and crass humor, but you'll undoubtedly come out with a big smile on your face when the credits begin to roll. Overall, I give Blood Diner a 2.5 out of 5. Thank you all for watching, and Lion Brian Gatto, the horror shark. Make sure to like, comment on, as well as share this video. Like my Facebook fan page, and to support me on Patreon, or even $1 a month will help keep this channel going on strong, and I greatly appreciate it. Plus, you get access to body counts and other music videos that you cannot get on YouTube because of copyright and date restriction. Monetary support, if you want to support the channel through PayPal, it's horrorshow37@gmail.com. I'd greatly appreciate that too. But if you don't want to support me with any money, just hit that notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video, and as always, subscribe.